Jalen Milroe and Alabama played this weekend against Texas A&M and proved multiple truths about the team as a whole, and I think it is 3 key things that we can take away from this win in College Station. Let's discuss them right now. Subscribe, I'm on the way to 100, let's go. First off, let me state the obvious truth here. The defense is legit, only allowing 1 score in the second half in the last 3 games. And if you go back even more, down there in Tampa, Alabama, it did not allow a single score in the second half, and honestly, Tampa should have had a goose egg. The University of South Florida should have never scored against Alabama, but you know, it is what it is. The offense was struggling hard because Milroe was not in the game. But let's go ahead and fast forward. Let's talk about Ole Miss. We only allowed that offense to score 3 points in the second half, and the next week Ole Miss put on an offensive clinic against LSU. Let's look at Mississippi State, whose offense is honestly shaky, but at the same time, Alabama only gave up 7 points against Mississippi State in the second half. Fast forward again, and we're talking about Texas A&M. In this game, Alabama only gave up 3 points. The defense just seems to get better and better as the game goes on. We continue to apply pressure. The defensive line is looking good. Everything is looking good for Alabama. Now, not to say that they are perfect, not to say that they don't make mistakes. Things do happen, but as a whole, the defensive group is looking pretty damn good. Next, let's talk about what I personally feel like will be the reason why Alabama may not contend for a championship this year. If this issue is not cleaned up, Alabama is not going to step near a trophy this year. But I think they can clean it up, and I honestly hope that they clean it up. Being an Alabama fan, we gotta clean this up or we not winning nothing. And that is all of these damn penalties. Every time I look up, there's another penalty. This has to be one of the most undisciplined groups I've seen Alabama have in a very long time. And we've been seeing this for the past couple of years now, and it seems to be getting worse and worse. I don't know what is going on, and most of the time, it is some pre-snap penalty, false start, illegal formation, illegal motion. We do it all. Whatever you can call before the ball is snapped, Alabama is about that life. I don't know if it is a lack of focus. I don't know if it's because they're just young. I don't know what it is. But whatever it is, Alabama is going to have to clean this up if they really want to contend for a championship, because you can only shoot yourself in the foot so many times until the foot just falls off. And I don't think we're going to be able to run with a prosthetic on, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if they can stop getting in their own way, the games would not be as close, in my opinion. And then on top of that, they'll stop giving me a heart attack at the end of these games. But let's continue to talk about the last truth that I saw during this Texas A&M game. Even if the run game is not going according to plan, Alabama and Jalen Milroe can still get it done. Jalen Milroe went 21 of 33, 321 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did have a pick, but hey, it is what it is. He was able to get out of that and continue to play ball. And so I will say this though, most of those passing yards went to Jermaine Burton. Jermaine Burton, 9 receptions, should have had 10. He had that one drop close to the end, but it's fine. My guy had 9 receptions, 197 yards. So almost went for 200 right there. Clearly his best game of the season. He had 2 touchdowns. All right. And then if we look at my guy right here, Isaiah Bond, he is also somebody who went for 7 receptions, 96 yards, and he had 1 touchdown. So Jalen Milroe did a fantastic job of throwing the ball deep. He did a fantastic job of getting out of the interception. And when I say that, I'm saying like he threw a pick, but he was able to say, well, let's just move on to the next play. And he has shown that time and time again. Just because he makes one bad play, just because he does this or that, he can easily get himself back into the task at hand. I think that's a trait that a lot of people do not have. Usually you'll see somebody make a mistake here, they're not able to actually overcome that. And Jalen Milroe has shown time and time again that he's able to overcome adversity, which is an amazing trait, by the way. And looking at this game as a whole, there was a couple of things that did not go our way that could have easily led to Alabama winning by more. And you can say it on both sides of the ball, but looking at, let's say, the block in the back that happened, that was crazy. He barely touched the guy, but it is what it is. You cannot put yourself in a position where you give the ref time or give the ref a thought that he may actually throw a flag. And you see, that's another thing that kind of goes back to my second point about being undisciplined. But I know it's a learning lesson that he has to learn, and so we know next time, if you are nowhere near the play, if you're not trying to block anybody who can actually make a tackle, because the guy who he put his hands on for a second was in no position to actually make any type of play on the ball. It was already going to be a touchdown, you know what I'm saying? So that being said, I want to turn my attention to one more thing, and I want to give props to Texas A&M. That D-line is the truth. The D-line for Texas A&M is the truth. If you look at this, our running backs couldn't do anything. I mean, looking at Chase McClellan, he only had 45 yards and he averaged 3.8 yards a carry. Jalen Milroe had negative 31 yards, so he did a fantastic job of containing Jalen Milroe, making sure that he is not the one that beats them with his legs, of course. And so Texas A&M basically said, look, if we're going to lose to Alabama, we're going to lose because Jalen Milroe dropped back in the pocket and delivered the ball on a dime. And that's what Jalen Milroe did. And you have to live with that if you're Texas A&M, because that was the game plan, obviously. And Jalen Milroe proved that he can do something that he did not do in previous games. And honestly, he didn't really have to. The run game was doing everything that they needed to do. And I still believe that the run game is going to be the reason why Alabama actually makes it to the championship. We have to continue to grow, continue to limit the mistakes, of course, but at the same time, Alabama is going to have to do this along the way, because I don't think this is the last game where Jalen Milroe is going to have to throw for 300. I think against LSU is going to be another game where it may be a shootout. It may be something that happens and Jalen Milroe is going to have to sling it. Say a pre-snap penalty, guys. Come on now. Y'all know where I'm going with this. This is who Alabama is. If we clean up what I said, the second thing I said, if we clean that up, I think everything else can fall in line. We have a great defense. Everything is look good there. Jalen Milroe has proven time and time again that he gets better and adversity does not shake him. We are looking pretty good. Shout out to my Alabama fans out there. I did explain how the key to victory was for Jalen Milroe to be able to throw the ball and exploit the secondary of Texas A&M, because I think that is the weak spot. That D-line is legit, but if you go into the secondary, you can exploit it. And that is exactly what Alabama did. But shout out to Texas A&M, as I stated earlier, though. That team is legit, and I think they have some more wins on the schedule. They're not ranked right now, but after they get a couple more wins, I think they'll be there. Anyways, let me know what you guys think, man. I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see you in the next one.